implementing storage spaces and data deduplication. In this, first, enterprise storage needed. Now, this storage spaces is a new feature in Windows Server 2016, which is for the enterprise storage needs. Now, what are the enterprise storage needs and requirements? Like for your storage planning, you should assess whether your storage solution needs to support these capabilities, such as these are the capabilities which we should need, that mirror and parity support. Now, mirror and parity support is like giving the redundancy for our storage. These features are it is like RAID features. So it is a features of RAID, redundancy array, and it is for the redundancy and high availability. So our storage must support these capabilities. Then data stripping must be there. Data stripping give you the more performance, better performance. Enclosure awareness, storage tiering, so that we can create tiers of different storage. Storage replications can also be there, and data deduplication. Data deduplication is to save the disk space. Then we need data encryption to secure and performance analysis also. So massive storage growth. Now storage is very much required, and the storage requirements are increasing very drastically. So massive storage growths are there, as you can see here in the chart. There are lots of requirement for the storage it's increasing. File based storage, block based storage. So we have in our server 2016, we have the feature called storage spaces. So this storage spaces is what? It is a way we create the new storage for our server 2016. Now, what is the use of storage spaces? First, adding the physical disk of any type and size to a storage pool. That means it can support any type of storage, any type of disk, and any size of the disk. Remember, this is the drawback in RAID. So when you go for traditional RAID, it does not support different type of hard disk and different size of hard disk. So these storage spaces do what? It can support different type and size of hard disk. Then create high available virtual disk for the pool. And this is using the storage spaces, what we can do, we can create the high available virtual disk. So basically it will create not a partition, not a volume, high available volume, it will create the high available virtual disk for us. In RAID, what we do, we actually create the volume, high available volume, by combining different physical disks. But using these storage spaces, what we can do, we can create the highly available virtual disk. Highly available virtual disk where we can create different volumes. And to create the virtual disk, what we need, first one or more physical disks, because definitely without physical disk we cannot create anything. So we need one or more physical disks. Now here we can use it, we can create one disk also. We can use one disk and we can create the simple virtual disk. We are not able to create the mirror. So for creating the mirror or parity, we need more than one disk. Then a storage pool that includes the disk. So first we need the physical disk, then we combine those physical disks to create the virtual storage pool. In that pool we have physical disk connected, and in the storage pool we will see the combined space. Then from that storage pool we can create the virtual disk, or we can say in this configuration it is says storage spaces. So virtual disk which we create, it is also called storage spaces, and that are created with the disk from that storage pool. So when we create those storage spaces, those virtual disks, it will be created with the using this physical disk. Then we need these disk drivers that are based on those virtual disks to connect. and use. Now, components and features of storage spaces. The features to use storage spaces optimally in your environment. First, we need the storage layout. Now, storage layout is simple. We have simple, then we have two-way or three-way mirror and parity. So these are the storage layout we have in these storage spaces. Then disk sector size can be 512 or 512E, or we can say 4 KB. The drive allocation can be data store, manual or hot spare. Then we have provision schemes, thin provision space or fixed provision space. Then strip parameters also there, like number of columns, interleaves. So for configuring these storage spaces, we need to create first the storage pool, and a storage pool will be created out of the physical disk we have. And then from that physical disk, from the storage pool, we will create the storage spaces, that is actually virtual disk, and it will call as a storage spaces. So let's see how we can configure this in our server 2016. Okay, this is our server 2016 here. Now to create the storage spaces, what we have to do, first we have to go to the storage file and storage services. Now in this we have option here for storage pool. Now when you select this, it will show you available physical disk and available pools. Now here it will show you the storage pools which we have, and here it will show you the physical disk we have, and here it will show you the virtual disk or storage spaces we create. Now right now it is not showing anything because I don't have any physical disk available here. So there is no physical disk available here because we have only one disk, and that is already used. If I check on the disk, so the disk is already one disk I have, disk 0 of 100 GB, and it is already used, and the whole space of the disk is already used. And you can see this is not part of any storage pool because the disk is already used for the simple volume, and the whole space is already used. And there is 1 MB unallocated space is remaining, so there is no space remaining here, and this is not free disk we have. So because of that, it is not showing anything here under the pool section. So what we need an extra free disk for configuring this storage pool. So first I will add some disk here to configure it. Now we see here that I have added one disk here of 60 GB. The file system type is not, the partitioning style is not known because we have not initialized it, but this is the disk I have connected here. Now once I connected the disk, when you go to the storage pools, so we can see here this, it is saying primordial. It is saying the primordial pool is there. It is a pool. It is not showing a disk name. It is showing the pool name here. It is showing primordial pool here available. Now this pool is actually available to create. Now when you have any extra disk available, so whenever you have any extra disk available, then you will see this primordial pool available. Now this pool, that means what? It is available to create. Now when you go to the disk size in the physical disk, we can see that there is a one disk available here to create the physical the pool, storage pool. Now if we want to create the storage pool, so by using this physical disk, we can go to the task and we can create new storage pool, or we can go here under the storage pool section. Under the task, we can create new storage pool. So either we can create from here or we can create from here. We can create a new storage pool. So first we have to create the storage pool. So we added a free available physical disk, and then what, we are creating new storage pool. Okay, so let's create one. So I'll go here and say new storage pool. Now it opens this wizard and it says before you begin you should read this. It says that this wizard help you group physical disk into a storage pool, enabling you to make your more efficient use of disk capacity. After creating a storage pool, you can use spaces in the pool to create volumes on virtual disk, which appears as a normal disk to the operating system. And to create the storage pool, you must have at least one unused physical disk and a storage subsystem that can manage it, such as the included storage spaces subsystem or the subsystem included with the storage devices. So basically it is saying that for creating the storage pool, we at least need one physical disk and for supporting drivers and all that. So I'll go next. Before I read this, before you begin, I know what I'm doing now. So I will go next. Now here we have to mention the pool name. We have to mention the pool name, whatever the pool we want to create. So let's say I will say pool 1. This is the pool I'm going to create, pool 1. And where I'm going to create it from server 1. Description, if you want, then you can add your description also. So the pool 1 I'm going to create from the server 1, available to server 1. Subsystem storage system is Windows, and also it is showing that primordial pool. So it is going to use that primordial pool. Actually we are renaming it. So basically it is actually there as a primordial. Now we are renaming it to pool 1. So we are creating it. Basically what we are doing, we are actually renaming it. Now what, I'll go next here, and this is how this is the virtual, this is a physical disk. It is showing here that these are the available physical disk we have. Right now we have only one disk. So if we want to select this disk, then we have to select like this. So if we have multiple physical disks, so it will show you all those physical disks which is available. So we can select all of them, or we can select the specific virtual disk from there. And then what it is saying, that selecting this disk will create the local pool. So it is going to create the local pool here because you are selecting these local disks. So I say OK, and also the allocation type here, it is automatic. Now allocation type is automatic, that means based on the system it will go for the automatic system. Otherwise we can go for hot spare, or we can go for manual. Now hot spare will remain as a spare disk. This means what? Suppose if we are using 4 disks. Now if suppose one disk goes corrupt, or let's take example of the RAID parity volume, RAID volume 5. When we do the RAID volume 5, and RAID volume 5 do what? It uses the parity disk, the stripping with parity. Now it needs at least 3 disks to work. Now it need at least 3 disks to work. Now mirror, if we use, it need at least 2 disks to work properly. Now suppose I have configured mirror here, and I have 2 physical disks connected. Now both the disks will be working properly. Now what happened? One disk goes down. Okay, for example, we configure RAID volume 5 or RAID volume 2. So the minimum requirement for that will be like 2 or 3. For example, the minimum requirement for the RAID 5 is 3. So we are using 3 disks. Now 3 physical disks are working, and we have combined them to create a volume here. Now what happened? It is working properly. Now when one disk goes down, then what happened? These other 2 disks will be available and the volume will still work. This is RAID 5. This is, for example, RAID 5. Now administrator has to remove this disk, because the redundancy will be failed, because one disk is now one disk is corrupt, so redundancy will be failed, that volume will be still available as a simple volume, but the redundancy will be failed. That means at this time, if we lose one more disk, then we can lose the whole data. We can lose the whole data, and we can lose the disk also. This available disk also will be lost, and the whole data we will lose. So we have to make sure that this disk, we remove this disk, corrupt disk, and we have to add the fresh one, so that the redundancy will go back to normal. Otherwise what happened, the redundancy is failed, and suddenly if suppose the one of the disk also failed, then our data will be lost. Now when the administrator sees that this disk is not working, then the administrator will do what? It will remove this and add the other disk. Now till the administrator has not seen it, then till that time it will be vulnerable. It will be vulnerable to lose the data. Now instead of using 3 disks, if we use 4 disks for creating the RAID 5, and we use this one disk as a spare disk. Now what that means, it will not work, it will not be active, it will remain as a spare. These 3 disks will be active and this one disk will remain as a spare. Now what happens if this disk goes down? So this disk will be removed from the RAID because it is corrupted, and in place of this disk, automatically this spare disk will come and it will added into the RAID. It will added into the RAID array. So it will be automatically, this disk will be added and this disk will be out of the RAID. Now for this what? Now administrator don't know that what is happening, and maybe suppose the administrator is not seeing or monitoring what is happening, but still what happened, the RAID will remain there and the RAID will be will work healthy. It will not go, the redundancy will not fail. So it will give the administrator time to recover the disk and add the new disk, or this disk will be there for it. So instead of removing the disk and adding the disk after the failure, we can add the spare disk before it. So whenever the one disk goes down, we can just the spare disk will automatically take place, that failure disk. And then what, when the administrator sees that okay, this one disk goes down, so it will remove this disk from the array, it will remove this disk completely. Now the RAID will still working properly, it will add new disk, and that disk will remain as a spare. Now this one, the spare one is now used, so this other one, when the administrator add, that one will remain as a spare. Then again if some disk will fail, then this spare disk will go in place of that disk, and by this the administrator will get the time to monitor and check this, the remove the corrupt disk, and also the RAID will be the RAID will the RAID and redundancy will not fail. So this is what that spare means. So we can use the disk as a spare also. So here if you have 2-3 disks here available, so you can use one of the disk as a spare. Automatic, that means automatically it will decide that how to use the disk. But if you want to make some disk as a spare, so you can make it as a spare, and we can make it manually also. Manual, that means manually we decide that the disk will be spare or not, but automatic is good. So the RAID, the storage pool will automatically handle the disk. Now we'll go next. Right now we have only one disk, so I'll go next here. So this is what I selected here, and then I can create. Now it is not a RAID, so RAID you cannot create with one disk, but here this storage pool, storage spaces, storage pool we can create with the single disk. And now it is created. So it was showing primordial, now it is showing the pool. Now it is showing the pool name here. Now the total size of this pool is 60 GB because the hard disk, the physical disk was 50 GB. And here this disk is now used. Now once we have created the pool, now we can do what? We can create a new virtual disk, or we can say storage spaces from this pool. Now if we want to create that, then we can create it from here under the virtual disk section, or we can right click here and we can create new virtual disk from here. So we can create from here or we can create from here. So there is no virtual disk or storage spaces available. So I want to create one. So I'll go here and I'll say new virtual disk. Now it is showing the pool name, that this is the pool name available, and we want to create under this pool. There is only one pool we have. We can have multiple pools. Right now we have only one. I'll go with select OK. And now it will open this wizard to create the virtual disk. Now it says that this wizard will help you to create virtual disk. Now a virtual disk is a collection of one or more physical disks from the previously created storage pool. And the layout of data across the physical disk can increase the reliability and performance of the virtual disk. Now we have to select the layout, that what layout we want to create out of this storage pool. So this is before you begin. Read after this, press next. Now here we have to mention the name for our virtual disk. Right now what we are creating, I will say this is my SVHD1. Now we can add the description also if we like, that we can remember what we are doing, what is the why we created this virtual disk. Now we have one option here which is not available here. It is saying create the storage tiers on this virtual disk. So storage tiers enable automatically movement of the most frequently accessed files to faster storage. Now this option is not available because you can see here it is saying that to use the storage tiers, the storage pool requires a minimum of one automatically allocated physical disk of each media type, that is SSD and HDD. That means normal SATA or the new technology SSD. Now in these two technology, the SSD is the fastest one. So SATA normal HDD is not that fast. The SSD is most fast hard disk we have available. So if we have these different type of hard disk available, like we have SATA, we have iSCSI, we have SSD, and we combine them to create this virtual disk, we created the storage pool out of combining these different type of this physical disk. Now we are creating the virtual disk out of that pool. So when you select this option, then what it will do, it will move the storage files. We don't know that, we will just see the single disk here. We will see the virtual disk normally, but in a background what this storage spaces will do, it will move the storage, it will move our files from one storage disk, one physical disk to other physical disk, which is faster than that. Now if the file is frequently accessed, suppose we store some file in this virtual disk, we have stored two files in this virtual disk. Now one is not frequently used and one is frequently used. So the one which is frequently used, it will move that file to the fastest storage, that is SSD, and the one which is not frequently used, it will be remain under SATA or the iSCSI disk or this HDD. Now this thing will be managed in the background and we will not notice it, because it will not we will not able to see that. We will see only the difference of accessing the file. Like when we access that frequently accessed file, that is under SSD, we will get the file very quickly, and the other file which is under the SATA iSCSI, it will come very little slower than the one which is stored in the SSD. But rather than that, we will not be able to see that what is happening in the background. This option is not available because we have only one physical disk, and that is normal SCSI disk. It is not a SSD disk, not a SATA disk. So it is the same disk. So it does not matter, the all disks which we use here are same, so the speed is not matter here, all will be same. So it is not giving me this option. First it is only one physical disk we have, and the next if we have 2-3 disks, still they will be remain same size or same type. So there is no point of speed here, because there is only one disk now. Right now it is only one disk, but when we add more disk, then we will see this option, and when we have different type of disk, then we will see this option. Right now it is not available, so I give the name and I'll go next. Now it is saying specify the enclosure resilience. Now this enclosure awareness stores copies of your data on separate storage enclosures, GBODs, helping protect your data if an entire enclosure fails. So if you enable the enclosure awareness setting that requires additional enclosure are grayed out. Right now this one is also not available. To use this awareness, your server must have at least 3 enclosure, and the physical disk in each enclosure must have automatic allocation. So first we have to have multiple disks, and then we have to configure the enclosure for that, so that we can use this option, and it will do what? It will just try to protect your file by moving the file from the one enclosure to other enclosure if the other enclosure is failing. So right now this is not available. I'll go next. Now here we have option to select the storage layout. So storage layouts, we have simple, mirror and parity. Now simple is the simple one, which is data stripping volume. That data is stripped across the physical disk, maximize the capacity and increasing throughput, but in decreasing the reliability. This storage layout requires at least one disk and does not protect you from a disk failure. Now remember, this is not RAID. This is not RAID. It is storage spaces, but it works like a RAID, and it works like a RAID volume 0. When we create the simple layout, it will work like a strip volume. It will work like a RAID level 0 strip volume, which do what? Which is strip the data across the disk 1, 2, 3. It will strip the data, and it will give the performance but not the redundancy. So if the one disk, the data will be lost. Now it is working like a RAID volume 0 strip volume, but it is not a RAID, because remember, in RAID strip volume requires at least 2 disks, minimum 2 disks, and if you don't have 2 physical disks, you cannot create the RAID volume 0. You cannot create that strip volume. But here we can create this even if we have single disk. In the storage pool we have single physical disk, we can create this. So it is saying here that this storage layout requires at least one disk and does not protect you from the disk failure. So we can create it without 2 disks. That means we can create in at least in one disk, because it is like a RAID volume 0, but it is not RAID. RAID we cannot create within single disk. We have to create it with the 2 disks. But in the pool right now we have only one disk. So still we can create the simple volume. But mirror is like RAID volume 1. RAID volume 1, which is called mirrored volume. Now this one is also same as that. Here data is stripped across the physical disk and creating 2 or 3 copies of your data. This increases reliability but reduces the capacity. To protect against a single disk failure, use at least 2 disks. 3 if you are using a cluster. To protect against 2 disk failures, use at least 5 disks. So the features of this mirror is same as the RAID, but still it is not a RAID volume. It is not a RAID. It is storage spaces mirror layout. Now it works like a same RAID volume 1, but it do what? It will do the same thing. It will strip the physical disk. It will do strip the data into multiple disks, copy the data into multiple disks, 2 or 3 disks. Now here it is not having restriction of maximum 2 disks. We can even have more than 2 disks also. Remember in red volume 1, what we have? We have a restriction, limitation of having only 2 maximum disks. But here we can have more than 2 disks, 5 disks, 2 disks, 3 disks, 5 disks, and it will copy the data into those, it will strip the data across those physical disks. And here what? Same as the red volume 1 mirror, it will what? It will reduce the capacity and also reliability. The increases the reliability and reduces the capacity. Because suppose when you create the 10 GB partition, that means other 10 GB space will also be loose. We will lose other 10 GB also, and the other 10 GB space will go for the it will go for mirroring. So when we use 10 GB, so basically it will use 20 GB from the pool. Now this we cannot create because it need at least 2 disks. Now when I try to go next, it will say you can't create this because right now we have only 1 disk. Then we have parity volume. This is same as red 5. This is same as red 5. It do what? It do the data and parity information. Data and parity information are stripped across the physical disk, same as red 5, increasing the reliability but somewhat reducing the capacity and performance. Now some capacity of performance, that means within 3 disks, we have 3 disks. If we use the minimum 3 disks, then what? One of the disk size will lose for the parity. So out of 3 disks, we get the capacity of through 2 disks. So out of 3 disks, we will get the capacity to use the storage capacity we can use out of only 2 disks. So somehow it reduces the capacity, not like mirror. In mirror we will lose the half of the storage capacity. Here we will use the 1/3 of capacity. But to protect this, it will give you the reliability. It will increase the reliability like mirroring. And to protect against the single disk failure, use at least 3 disks. To protect against 2 disk failure, we should use the 7 disk here. So if we have 3 disks, so we can afford 1 disk failure, just like the red volume 5. And if we want to support more than 2 disk failure, 1 disk failure, that is 2 disks, then we need at least 7 disks. Now we can't configure this also right now because it need at least 3 disks. If I go next here, it says you can't create this because physical disk is only 1 and it need at least 3 physical disks. So right now I can create only simple volume, and it is allowing me to create. And it is allowing me to create this because it is not red. Remember, it is not red. Now provision type, it is thin or fixed. Now thin means the volume uses space from the storage pool as needed up to the volume size. It is dynamically allocated. So thin provisioning means it will use only the space which is required to use. Like when I create 10 GB partition, 10 GB virtual disk, so it will not use the whole 10 GB from the pool. It is going to use the space which is required. And then when we store the data into that hard disk, that virtual disk, it will start using the space up to the maximum size which we have given. Fixed size, that means it will take the whole size right now from the pool. So it will take the whole size right now from the pool. I will give this fixed size right now. First we'll see fixed size. So I'll go next. Okay, I'll go thin size now. Now here we have option to select what is the size for our disk. I will go 10 GB. One more option we have here, maximum size. Now it is not showing me this option. Now why? So the virtual disk might take additional space to create a write back cache. So it will also take more space than the allocation. So it may take some extra space now to create the write back cache. Now it will be not more than MBs, so we will not notice when we are creating the disk in GBs like 100 GB, 50 GB, 200 GB. So we will not notice that, but it will take some extra space. Now this option is not available here because what, we have only single disk available. Now suppose when we have multiple disks available and we don't know what is the size available sometime, because in some disks there is a 10 GB available, in some disks 50 GB, in some disks 20 GB. Now I don't know what is the size available, total size available right now. Then I can go for maximum size. So it will do what? It will go for all the available size and it will go for the maximum available size. It will use the whole remaining size. Right now it is not available because we have only one disk. So I selected the size 10 GB. Next. So this is what I have selected, and then I will create. And now it is created here. Now I have option to close here, but when I close, it will start the volume creation wizard because this option is selected here. So because this option is selected, it will do what? It will start the wizard for creating the volume. I will move to that. I will remove this and say close. So this is what I have selected, I have created here. SVHD1, the name, layout I selected simple, provisioning I use thin, and the capacity is 10 GB. I have given the capacity of 10 GB, but right now it is only using 512 MB. It is going to use 10 GB when we use this hard disk. Now this virtual disk which we created of 10 GB, now we can see it under the disk also. Now here we can see this disk. This is virtual disk of 10 GB. It is of GPT partitioning style. And now if we want to create the volume, we can right click and create new volume from here. Or we can go to disk management. And under the disk management also we can see the name of the disk here, that is 10 GB available, and we can create the volume from here also. So we can create the volume, we can now use this virtual disk, we can create the volume from here, we can create the volume from server manager, we can right click directly on the disk and create volume, or we can go to storage pool and virtual disk, and then I will right click here and then I can create the new volume also. So these are the different options, we can create new volumes. So let's say I will create it from here, select new volume, now we can create simple like we do create the volume simply. So this is the disk, I am creating the volume. Next, the size what I take, so let's say I want 5 GB only. E drive, file system type, then generate short file if we need, it is not recommended, so we will not select that. And this is what I selected and created. So the volume is created. Now we can see the volumes here. This E drive is created and of the 5 GB, and it is created out of the virtual disk, and you can see the provisioning is thin. Now under that disk we are remaining with the 5 GB, so we can see it here also, disk management. This is the disk, 5 GB partition is created. I can create the volume from here also. So this is how we can use the storage pool, but this is a simple one. There is no redundancy available, it is only for the performance, and that is also not available because there is only single disk. Now to use the storage pool properly, we should add more than one disk. So what I will do here, I will add now more disk here to create the other type of storage pool, other type of storage spaces. Now I have added two more extra disks here. Now I will refresh the server manager. Now because the new extra disks are available, we can see now this primordial. So we can see the primordial here available because we see now the new disk is available. So when I go down here, I can see the two new disks available here. When I go to disks, I can see these two disks. Now I want to use those two disks here for the pool. So what I will do, I will select the pool, right click, and I have option to add the physical disk. So I have option to create new virtual disk, and also I have option to add new virtual disk, no physical disk. Or suppose I want to create a separate pool out of those disks. So I will create from here. I will select primordial and then I will create new pool. So I can create the new pool out of those physical disks, those new available physical disks, or I can use those physical disks onto this pool. I can go and select from here also. Under the physical disk, I can select add physical disk here. So what I will do, I will right click on this pool and I will say I want to add physical disk. Now we can see that these two new disks are available. So I will select these two disks and then OK. So now I added those physical disks also into this same pool. Now when I go here down, so we can see that these three physical disks are there and they are added into this pool. And now when you create the physical disk here, a virtual disk, now we can create mirror and we can also create that parity. So now when I select this and select to create new virtual disk from this pool, so I can create now, the way we create is same. Again, this option is not available even we have multiple disks, because all the disks which we have are same type. So there is no point of speed. So the performance will be same. So it is not available. This option is not available. It will be available when we have different type of disks like SATA, HDD, SSD. Now we have option to select. Now we can select mirror, we can select parity because we have three disks. So if I go for mirror, it will allow me, and now I can use what size I want. Suppose I will use now fixed size. So fixed size, that means it will take whatever the size we allocate. So I'll go for fixed. Now we can see the maximum size option is available now. Now when you select maximum, that means it will fill all the available space from all the three disks. And it will be, you can see it is total, it will be 85 GB. Now I don't want that, so I will select 10 GB from here. Next, and this is what we have selected, and create. and now it is created. You want to create the volume, you can select this and it will open the widget directly. So when I close this, it opens the widget to create the volume in that virtual disk. Now where is the volume, where is the virtual disk? So we can see now this is the virtual disk, and you can see the capacity 10 GB out of 10 GB. So the total space it has taken 10 GB. This one is thin provision, so 10 GB is the full size, the capacity, but it is right now using only 2 GB. But this one is using the whole 10 GB from the storage pool. And also these two volumes are created under this. Under this there is no volumes are created. So now for creating the volume, what we can do, we can select the disk and create the volume. We can go to disk and we can select the disk here, and then we can create the volume. Now it is showing some more volume or more disk here. How much disk it is showing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let me refresh it first. Now it is showing only 3. Now why it was showing 5 and now it is showing only 3? It is because those physical disks, when we added the physical disk and when they are not part of the any pool, it was showing here as a physical disk. But when it becomes the part of any pool, it will disappear from here. Remember, when we add any physical disk into pool, that disk will be disappeared. Now here it is showing only the physical disk of our operating system and then the disk which we created, these two virtual disks which we created. So it is not showing the real disks. Those 3 disks which we have added, it is not showing that. And even in this disk management also, if you see here, we can see only this disk 0, that is our operating system disk, and then this is the virtual disk we created, and this is the new virtual disk which we created. But we cannot see those disks, those 3 disks which we added into the pool. So when we add the disk into pool, that will be disappeared from disk management, and also it will be disappeared from here under the disk section. So don't get confused. Sometime you will see the more disk, then suddenly you see that those disks will be disappeared, and the numbers will also, you will see like this. Now you see after 0 we have number 2. We are not seeing the number 1 disk. After 0 it should be number 1, but number 1 is not showing here. Why? Because it was the physical disk which is added into the pool. Then we created this disk, virtual disk 2. This is virtual disk. Then we added 2 disk more. So that 2 disk was 3 and 4. Now that 3 and 4 will be these 3 and 4 was added into the pool, so they are disappeared here. So these 3 and 4 disks are not showing here because they are added into pool, but the numbers are still there. And when we created the virtual disk out of that pool, then it is showing 5 here. So 3 numbers are missing here. That is number 1 and then number 3 and 4. So those 3 numbers, those 3 number disks are part of the pool and they are not showing here and not showing under the disk management. We can see only this 2 and 5 and 0. So we see 0, then we see 2, and then we see 5. And then we can create the volume, whatever the volume you want, we can create out of this. So this volume will be used like a partition here. Now whatever we store in this volume, it is going to store into this virtual disk, and behind the scene by storage pool, what it do, it will store the disk into, it will store the size, store the data into these physical disks, whatever the layout we select. So if we selected the mirror layout, so it will store the data as a mirror layout, and if we selected this, then it will store the data as a thin layout. this simple layout, or we can create the parity layout also. So we can create the parity same way, new virtual disk. Next, name. Next, and this time we can select parity because we have 3 disks available. Again you can select thin or fixed, then you can select size, and then create. And then you can create the volume out of it also. You can directly create the volume, and use that. So we have this new drive also. So this is the storage spaces we have, and this is how we can create these storage spaces. So for configuring it, what we did, we use the physical disk, we create the pool out of it, and then we create the virtual disk from it. And in those virtual disks, these virtual disks, we can use it, we use them as a real disk. We can use them as a real disk. We can create volumes into these disks. We can use these disks for the different volumes. We can create simple volume, we can create a sphere volume, we can create a span volume, strip volume, mirror, and this red 5 volume also. Even we can use this virtual disk to create the red volumes also. So what are the changes we have in this file and storage services in 2016 servers? So what are the storage changes we have here? Well, first we have storage spaces direct. Now these storage spaces, the same which we have seen right now, we can use these storage spaces direct also. This storage spaces direct is used for the Hyper-V virtual machines. Hyper-V virtual machines, we can configure the storage space which is spread over multiple servers, but they look like they are attached to the single server. So it is a direct storage spaces. It looks like a direct storage spaces for the virtual machines for Hyper-V, and we can configure this from Hyper-V. This is the feature of Hyper-V. We can configure it from the Hyper-V. Right now what we have configured is the local storage spaces. Then we have storage replica also. We can create it again under the Hyper-V. This is also the feature for the Hyper-V. And also we can manage the storage quality of service. Then we have data deduplication. It is also improved. It was available under 2012 also, but now it is improved, that can support the volume size of up to 64 TB, and it support for the file size of up to 1 TB. It is the improvement. Simplified deduplication configuration for virtualized backup applications. Then support for nano server is there. Support for cluster rolling upgrades also. Then we have SMB hardening improvement. This is also we have in this 2016 server, it is secured this SMB protocol or SMB share also. Harden the security of this SMB protocol. Now changes, we have this in Windows Server 2006-12 and Windows Server 2012 R2 provides the following new file and storage services features. This was available in Server 2012 and R2. It was multi-terabyte volumes, data deduplication, iSCSI target servers. This was available in Server 2012 R2. Then storage spaces and storage pools, tiered storage spaces in Windows Server 2012 R2. It was not available in 2012. And then now it is available in 2016. Unified remote management of file and storage services in Server Manager. that we can do the remote management. Then also the new file system, that is ReFS. Now where we use the storage spaces, what are the scenario? So scenarios are like, for the storage spaces features, implement and easily manage scalable, reliable and inexpensive storage. So it is easy to implement, it is easy to manage, and we can easily scalable. It is easily scalable, that means we can easily add more disk into it, we can remove disk from it. It is reliable also, it is giving us the reliable option, and it is also inexpensive. We don't need to have an extra hardware or these extra features, extra environment we have. We can use it in our existing server configuration. Use inexpensive storage without external storage. That means we don't need to have a storage area network. We don't have to have a separate storage area, storage devices. We can do it with the connected storage also. Then combine multiple drives into storage pools that administrators can manage as a single entity. So storage pool is also like a single entity where we are managing, connecting or combine multiple physical drives. Implement different types of storage in the same pool. That means in the same pool, with the same pool we can configure mirrors, parity, simple. Then grow storage pool as required. That means if we require, then we can add more disk into it. Just like we started with single disk, then we added more 2 disk into it. Then provision storage as required from existing storage pools. Then designate specific drives as hot spare. Hot spares also we have option to allowed to use the hot spare option here in this storage pool. That will remain as a spare disk, and whenever it requires, then it will take the place of the real active disk. Then limitation of the storage spaces. What are the limitations we have? First, storage spaces volumes are not supported on onboard or system volumes. That means we cannot use it for installation. We cannot install the operating system into it. We cannot boot the system from it. It is only for data. Then the contents of a drive or drive are lost when you introduce that drive into a storage pool. And remember, the drive which we use in the storage pool, it will disappear from the disk management and other disk management tools. Why? Because it is going to remove everything from that storage, that drive, and it is going to be used into the hard disk, into the pool. So for using it into the pool, any drive we have to remove it from everything we have to remove. So that means the data will be lost. We cannot use the drive which has any data into it. Then you must have at least one drive in a simple storage pool. So for the simple storage pool, at least we have one drive. Then fault tolerant configuration have specific requirements. For example, for mirrored pool requires minimum of 2 drives. For parity, this pool required minimum of 3 drives. Then three-way mirroring requires a minimum of 5 drives, where we can use three-way mirroring. That means what? It will use 2 disk failure we can afford. Then all drives in pool must use the same sector size. Now it is not the limitation of file size, the storage size or hard disk type, but it is having a limitation of sector size. That means whatever the drive we are using under the pool, they must use the same sector size. Then fiber channel and iSCSI are not supported. Now we cannot use these storage spaces for iSCSI servers, iSCSI, or even a fiber channel also. It is not supported till now. Now when planning your storage spaces solution, so first you have to consider, before going for the storage spaces, first fault tolerance. That means provision the virtual disk with mirrored and parity layout. So we have to think about the fault tolerance, and we will get the fault tolerance only when we configure the mirrored and parity layout. If we configure the simple layout, we will not get the fault tolerance. We have to consider the performance also, because the performance, that means for provisioning the virtual disk with parity layout, it will give the performance and redundancy both. Or use the disk of different types to provide tiered storage. So if we use a different type of storage drives, that is like SSD, SATA, SCSI, so it will give you a tiered storage that will use the fastest storage if it is needed. So the files which is frequently accessed, which is needed by everyone, it will be moved to the fastest storage. Then reliability, use hot spare physical disk in case a physical disk fails. So using the hot spare is also a good option to increase the reliability, because as we saw that the one disk goes down, then the spare disk will take place of that failed disk, and that will give the administrator time to recover it. Then extensibility, that means add physical disk to a storage pool. That means we can extend the pool anytime we can, and for that we can add new physical disk anytime into the pool. Managing storage spaces. Now managing the storage spaces, that means you can manage storage spaces by using what? Server manager. That what we have done right now. We can use for Windows PowerShell also. We can use the PowerShell commands for managing the these storage spaces. Then we can use the failover cluster manager also. Failover cluster manager also, we have this cluster manager is to configure the cluster, and from that cluster manager we can also manage the storage spaces. Then we can use System Center Virtual Machine Manager. This is also a single another tool which is available. It is not not available by default under Server 2016. We have to download it and install it. It's a software for managing the virtual machine and Hyper-V machines, and also from there we can manage the storage spaces, and we can configure the storage spaces direct also. Then we can use another software of Microsoft, which is Windows Management Instrumentation. So that is also a software. So WMI, which is also we can use to manage the storage spaces. And for advanced management, it requires Windows PowerShell. So in Windows PowerShell, we are having these commands. Get storage pool will show you the information about the storage pool we have. Repair the virtual disk, it will use to repair the virtual disk. Get physical disk, we can check the health of the physical disk by using this command. That get physical disk, it will show all the physical disk, where we can select the health status, and that is healthy, not equal to healthy. That means NE. This NE means not equal to healthy. So it will show you the failed disk, like whatever the disk is failed. Reset the physical disk means remove a physical disk from the storage pool. Then we can use get virtual disk with the get physical disk command to list the physical disk used for the virtual disk. Then optimize volume. This command will optimize the volume, performing such tasks on supported volumes and system as key use as defragmentation, trim, slab consolidation, and storage tier processing. Then to enhance the disk fault tolerance, we have to enhance the disk fault tolerance. We can do what? Design a complete fault tolerant storage solution. Deploy a high available storage pool that is available with multiple physical disks. Then verify the hardware and firmware components also. Replace failed disk immediately. Don't wait just when the disk is failed, just replace it. Then retain some unallocated space. Like for the future use, always retain some unallocated space. Don't use the whole space, available space. Then be prepared for multiple disk failures. That means every time prepare for multiple disk failures. So sometime maybe you will face that multiple disk failure can be happen. Provide the fault tolerance at the enclosure level. Now storage pool expansion. Expansion, that means these are the physical disks we can see, like disk 1, disk 2, disk 3, disk 4, disk 5, and we can see the virtual disk when we create, it is expanded over all these disks. For example, the disk 1, this virtual disk 1 is expanded all to these 5 disks. this disk 2 is expanded over 3 disks. So this is what it is called storage expansion, pool expansion. We can add new virtual disk into it, and then we can, these virtual disks can all or can also expand over these virtual disks, new virtual disk also. We can see that by using this command of PowerShell, get virtual disk from list, and from there we can see the number of columns it is using to create that virtual disk. So under this we can run the PowerShell to see that. I will run as administrator. This command is get storage pool will show you the storage pool we have. So we have the one storage pool, that is pool 1, and primordial always be there because it is not it is a free space, it is available for the free disks if we have. Then we have this it is saying is primordial, it is saying no, this one is no because it is used, and this one is true because it is a primordial. So this is what to check our storage pool. And suppose if the any disk goes corrupt, so we can check that by using that command. Get physical disk. Now it will show all the physical disks. Now in all the physical disks, if you see all our physical disks are healthy. If you can see the health status is healthy. Now if we have multiple disks and we want to see, suppose some disk is not working properly, so it will show unhealthy there. So to get the unhealthy disk, we can run the command same as this. We can run the command this get physical disk with some extra options. That means I will add pipe here, and I will say that from that all disk I want to say where that this variable health status this variable is not equal to healthy. So if it is not healthy, then it will show me, then show me the this which is showing not healthy, and it is showing no disk here because all the disks are healthy. This means not equal to, but these are all healthy, so it is not showing any disk. But if you run this command, so it will show you all those disks which is not working properly and that disks are not healthy. Then to get the physical disk with all the options, we can run the command format list, and it will show you about all the physical disk here in full detail. It is showing all the physical disk in full detail. To get virtual disk information, we will run command get virtual disk. It will show all the virtual disk. Right now we have one, we have as a mirror, parity and simple we have. Now if we want to see the detail about that, so we can go for format list, and it will show me a detail, and in the detail we can see that how much columns they are using. And here we can see number of columns it is using, and it is using 3 because we are having 3 physical disks. So all the physical disks, all these three physical disks used to create this virtual disk. So this is storage pool expansion. Then for managing the storage spaces by using the PowerShell, we can view the property of the storage pool by using this command, get storage pool. Then we can use to check the physical information about this, like get storage pool. Then we will mention the storage pool name to get the only information about that storage pool, and then we can check the get physical disk out of it, and it will show me the physical disk which is used with that physical disk used for that virtual that storage pool. And then we can use only these information, like we want to see the friendly name, we want to see the size, status and operation status. So it will show you only that thing. Then for managing it, the storage spaces, we can use the event manager also. So we can use the event logs and performance counter also. This one, with any storage technology, it is important to monitor the storage behavior and function to ensure ongoing reliability, availability and optimal performance. So for managing it, we have to monitor it also. So for monitoring it, we can use the event viewer, event log, and also we can use the performance counters. For that we can see that how much the disk is used and how much the load the disk is getting, so that we can improve our disk and we can improve the performance, we can increase the size, we can increase the redundancy also. So for that we can check the event logs. We can go for event logs here under the event viewer. We have to see the event related to the storage spaces. Then we can go for performance counters. We can go for performance monitor, and under the performance monitor we can add the counters to monitor the performance of these. We can go to the properties and then we can add the data, and here we can add the storage performance counter for the storage spaces. Now we have to find that storage spaces counters. Like we have option for physical disk here. Then we have storage spaces counters here. For storage spaces tiers, for storage spaces virtual disk, for write cache. So we can add these counters here, and then we can monitor that what is the performance and what is the load we are getting on these virtual disk and whatever, and then we can monitor here, and then we can decide that what to do and what not to do.